Server from 17 once again. This is Balls Deep of Saints Row 4. A game that I was quite excited for. And I've now played extensively. I've beaten it, I've done all the activities, collectibles, all that kind of good stuff. And we're going to jump in now and just have a run around, and I can share some thoughts about the game and distill any illusions for people or reinforce any sentiments they may have. Saints Row 3 to me was a really fun game. It got my Game of the Year for the year that I actually did Game of the Year, which was, I believe, 2 years back now. I'm going to do it this year as well. And it won because it was so silly and I had so much fun with it, and I really wasn't expecting to. Whereas on the flip side, this is a game where I knew I was going to have fun with it, and I had even more fun than I expected to have. You'll notice I'm a woman. I never pick women, guys. There's an achievement on this game for being a woman for 2 hours, so that's why I'm on a female character. And yes, my male character does have black skin, completely black skin and ridiculously purple hair with pinky purple John Lennon glasses. He looked amazing, but I guess you will not get to see that. So, Saints Row 3 upped the ridiculous factor, and then this game went and just took it that step further, because now you've got superpowers and you're in a simulation. And the superpowers, for all intents and purposes, they turn a sandbox, a GTA clone, into something much closer to a Prototype, an Infamous, or a Crackdown. Maybe all of them in ways. And they do it in a cohesive and fun way. If I had any criticisms with the game, it would probably be the way that the game uses the aesthetic of the simulation. You'll notice that the visuals pixelate quite a lot, and I'm a fan for visualized, for stylized visuals, and I do like pixelation when it's done right. But this game does it to an extent where I believe it's actually hiding things that are going wrong. And what I mean by this is the frame rate is not great. But the frame rate can't be great because the speed of what I'm going to be moving through some of this geometry is ridiculous, and you'll notice that you can get to the point where the game struggles to keep up with your character and everything just starts to fuzz, and it's intentional, but I think it's hiding popping. I think it's hiding texture popping. I think it's hiding a lot of things that it possibly doesn't want you to see. And at times it can be really odd on the eye and really harsh. For instance, my girlfriend was with me the other day when I was playing, and she was having a lot of difficulty watching because it hurt her eye, and she just wasn't a fan of it at all, which is understandable. I get it completely. A cool thing about the game too is you get to change the pitch of the voice, so you can either make them really high pitched and hamster style, or you can lower it down so they sound like the serial killers from the interviews back in the 70s. So mine's the 70s serial killer slowed down voice because it just sounds menacing and awesome. And it's such an interesting game because a lot of people aren't playing it because they fear it's going to be too stupid, but the stupid things are the parts that make these games fun for me, because I've never been the type of guy who really liked sandbox games that much. So the stupidity is kind of what drove me to play them and drove me to enjoy them as much as I do. And not playing it because of that to me just seems like you're missing the point. And if you're wondering what's happening, that grenade steals my superpowers, which I wish they'd explain the tech because I'm not a fan of it at all. Here's my blunderbuss. Random blunderbuss, and well, that's a useful gun. Let's get the Robocop guns on. I suppose they're okay. But what happens in the world anyhow, once you've done everything, is you can still come back and finish your activities, is what you're seeing now. And if you cause hassle in the simulation, it still sends out the security force, which are the people that you see fighting me now, which are the alien menace of the game, is I suppose what you could call them. See if I can use an electricity one. There we go. Bit of electric telekinesis. Where's a life sapper? But there's so much craziness to it. Like, I can't understand people not enjoying it unless they're taking it too serious. Because I played it for what it was and I had a lot of fun. And don't get me wrong, I don't think I'd ever play it again, and I'm not going to be covering it on a playthrough on the channel. because it's one of those things where it is so extreme and it's so the way it is that I think I've had my fill. And maybe that's why people are disappointed, because I haven't put even 40 hours into this game. So I can understand people maybe being a little disappointed with that. But it just seems kind of silly to avoid a game purely based off the fact that you think it looks too crazy. But I suppose people avoid games for less. And we're all guilty of it. Sometimes it's subconscious, sometimes it's not. But I am a big fan of this game, so I wanted to do it on a balls deep just to show people the type of stuff that goes down on it. For instance, you see that on the map, that gold thing? If I grab this, you're going to need to be careful because sometimes you'll jump in a car, which I think is a bit of a mistake on the developer's side. Because when you press Y when you're running, obviously, it does things like this. And when you're chasing that orb, it can be a little frustrating to do that when you're trying to do something else. But anybody with tribulations against challenge, thinking that the game probably won't have any challenge because you're superpower. Excuse me, sorry. Oh, frame rate, look at it. Oh. I wouldn't worry too much. You are very powerful on this game, and the game definitely revels in making you feel powerful. But you don't have everything at the beginning. It's a progression, and I think in the progression you definitely learn to respect it a little bit more. You learn to figure it out, and you learn to use it. And I just think it's fun. I think they made the parts of Saints Row 3 that weren't so much fun for me, i.e. moving around the city and the general, you know, city stuff outside of the missions, and they cranked it up to the level of insanity that is found in other parts of the game. So, you know, to me, I think that's perfect. There might be stuff they've taken out that I've not noticed that I didn't really care too much about. But
at least give me a challenge.
It's silly. And silly is something I appreciate today when we've got a lot of really serious titles. And there's nothing wrong with serious titles. I love The Last of Us as much as anybody. But at the same time, it's always fun to have something completely ridiculous at the same time. Because you need that contrast. Because if you don't have it, the serious stuff isn't as evocative and the silly stuff isn't as silly. It's just how it works. But I don't think there's really too much I need to show of this. It's crazy, it's funny. It's definitively Saints Row, for better or for worse, and some people are going to really enjoy that. Some people just aren't. Well, thank you for watching, guys, and as always, you take care now.